This flower? It can grow over 3 feet wide. It weighs up to 15 pounds. It has no leaves, no stems, no roots. And when it blooms, it smells like a rotting corpse. This is the story of the world's largest flower, Rafflesia Arnoldii. Deep in the rainforests of Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, parts of Thailand, something enormous hides beneath the vines. You won't see it at first, because for most of its life, it's invisible. No green leaves reaching toward sunlight. No stalk pushing through the soil. Just threads. Tiny string-like tissues living inside another plant. Because Rafflesia isn't just big, it's a parasite. It survives by attaching itself to a specific host vine called tetrastigma. It doesn't photosynthesize, it doesn't make its own food. It steals nutrients directly from its host, quietly, slowly, for months, even years. And then one day, a small cabbage-like bud appears on the forest floor. At first, it doesn't look impressive, just a round, textured lump. But over the course of several months, it grows, and grows, and grows, until it becomes something almost unreal. A massive reddish-brown bloom. 5 thick petals, white speckled patterns. A central opening that looks almost alien. When fully open, it can measure over 100 centimeters, more than 3 feet across. That makes it the largest individual flower in the world. Not the tallest plant, not the heaviest tree, but the largest single flower. And here's the twist. It only lasts about a week. After months, sometimes years, of hidden development. It blooms for roughly 5 to 7 days. Then it collapses, turns black, and begins to decay. But during that short window, it does something unforgettable. It smells bad, really bad. Rafflesia is nicknamed the corpse flower because when it blooms, it releases a powerful odor similar to rotting flesh. Why? Because it's brilliant. The smell attracts flies and beetles, pollinators that are drawn to decaying animals. The insects crawl into the flower's central chamber, picking up pollen, carrying it to another bloom. It's deception, perfectly engineered. The plant doesn't produce sweet nectar. It doesn't rely on bees or butterflies. It imitates death. And that strategy works. But even with its size and smell, Rafflesia remains incredibly rare. It only grows in specific rainforest environments. It depends entirely on its host vine. If the vine dies, Rafflesia dies. And because deforestation threatens Southeast Asian rainforests, sightings are becoming less common. It's massive, it's dramatic, but it's fragile. The discovery of Rafflesia dates back to 1818. British explorer Sir Stamford Raffles and naturalist Joseph Arnold encountered the flower during an expedition in Sumatra. Arnold was the first to document it scientifically, and that's where the name comes from, Rafflesia Arnoldii. Even in the 1800s, it stunned scientists. A flower larger than a car tire, with no visible leaves, no traditional plant structure. It challenged everything people thought they knew about botany. Because Rafflesia doesn't behave like most plants. It doesn't look like most plants. And for most of its life, it doesn't even resemble one. Genetically, it's fascinating. Studies have shown that Rafflesia may have incorporated genetic material from its host vine over time. Horizontal gene transfer, meaning parts of its DNA resemble the plant it parasitizes. It's almost as if it blurs the line between itself and its host. That level of adaptation is rare in flowering plants, and it makes Rafflesia even more extraordinary. But let's clear something up. Rafflesia is the largest single flower, not the largest flowering structure overall. That title often goes to the Titan arum, another corpse flower. But the Titan arum is technically a cluster of many small flowers. Rafflesia, one bloom, one enormous, unmistakable flower. And seeing one in the wild is difficult, because the rainforest hides it well. There are no tall stalks signaling its presence, no bright green leaves, just forest floor, vines, humidity, and if you're lucky, a massive red bloom lying directly on the ground. It almost looks unreal, like something designed for a science fiction movie. Thick, fleshy petals. A hollow center, spikes lining the inner disc. It doesn't look delicate, it looks prehistoric. And in some ways, it feels that way too. Rainforests are ancient ecosystems, dense, competitive, relentless. To survive there, organisms evolve extreme strategies. Rafflesia evolved invisibility, then spectacle, years of hidden growth, followed by one explosive bloom, then decay. It's a life cycle built on patience and precision, and it highlights something powerful about nature. Size doesn't equal longevity. The largest flower on Earth exists for just a week, but during that week, it dominates everything around it. Tourists travel long distances for a chance to see it. Local guides track budding growth carefully. Scientists monitor populations, because once it blooms, the countdown begins. And if pollination fails during that short window, the opportunity is gone. That fragility makes conservation critical. Deforestation and habitat destruction reduce both the host vine and Rafflesia's survival chances. And because it cannot grow independently, protecting the ecosystem is essential. You can't cultivate Rafflesia easily in botanical gardens. It resists transplantation. It resists domestication. It belongs to the wild. And that's part of its mystique. The world's largest flower isn't towering above everything. It's lying quietly on the forest floor, hidden until the exact moment it decides to reveal itself. It doesn't bloom to be beautiful. It blooms to survive, to attract flies, to complete its cycle, and then disappear again. Rafflesia reminds us that nature doesn't follow aesthetic rules. It doesn't aim to please. It evolves for function, for strategy, for survival. A giant foul-smelling bloom may not sound glamorous, but biologically, it's genius. And that's what makes it legendary. The largest flower on Earth. Rootless, leafless, parasitic, ephemeral, yet unforgettable. It proves that sometimes the most extraordinary things in nature aren't the tallest or the longest lasting. They're the ones that appear briefly, shock the world, and vanish back into the forest.